Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Between the Walls podcast. We are your hosts. My name is Jess.
And I'm Jonathan, and we are the Wallaces. I mean, crack on the voice.
It's okay.
It's all right, though.
We're both
I'm
getting
not sick.
over.
Never was sick.
Jonathan wouldn't claim it, but I have an issue with people who don't try to claim they're feeling sick when they are sick, because then they go out into the world like, nah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm not sick. And they get other people sick. So
No, it was actually Jess that was the real sick one.
I got sick again, you guys. I'm so sorry. The end of the season has been really on and off because for some reason the past month, I just kept catching, I don't know, a virus, a cold or whatever, but I got sick again. So we had to take last week off, and I'm so sorry, you guys. I am the problem child here, but thank you guys all for your prayers and the messages that you guys sent. It warmed my heart, and I want to say that it worked because even though I may sound a little sick, I'm feeling much, much better. I do have a nasty cough, though.
Yeah, she laughs too much, she starts to cough.
Yeah, so don't be giving me jokes because the more I laugh, the more it sounds like I'm coughing out a lung. A lung. So, yeah, that's just the update on that. But I feel much better, so that's that. What happened in the past 2 weeks? Anything interesting?
I'm sure something interesting happened, but every
went
time
to
you
New
guys
York.
will freeze up. Oh, yeah.
I went to New York,
Tell
and
them
that was
about
amazing. I went on a brand trip to New York, and I just had a time. And I felt so like, I'm like, hey, man, God. Hey, man. I liked it. For lack of better words. I was just like, man, like, I feel like I've made it. You know, I mean, I've been doing content for 8 years, and there have definitely been a lot of I made it moments. So I don't want to like look past all of those. But for some reason, this brand trip really felt like, okay, we've arrived to where we're trying to be. And it's just not because it's like, I didn't make any money from the brand trip. It wasn't like, oh, I made a certain amount of money or like blah, blah, blah. It just felt like finally I was in the right space. I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with New York or like the flashing lights, the cameras, whatever. But I was like, this is what dreams are made of. Like I had a good time. Yeah.
But it's the last episode of the season, guys.
I don't want to say thank God, but thank God.
I mean, as a 2-person team, making the podcast is a lot of work because this is not a studio. This is our house. So,
Right.
And the couch, as you guys probably know, isn't usually in this position in front of the stairs. So it's like a lot of moving stuff around and a lot of making time and time to edit and all that good stuff to make the podcast happen. So like it's been a blessing and a pleasure to do it this season, but it's also been a lot of work.
You know, I'm excited for our little spring break.
Yeah.
And hopefully something looks different when we come back. Every time we come back, I want something to be different and like more exciting. You know, I like to captivate the eyeball. So
Yeah, so we're going to try to work on some things.
Yeah.
But we'll also try to keep up with the content on the Between the Walls Instagram.
yeah,
and maybe,
if you guys are, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Keep going.
and through Only One Jess stuff as well.
Yeah, so if you guys are not following us on Instagram, follow us at Between the Walls Pod _ on Instagram because we're just putting out like a little bit of funny videos. We do like our motivational posts every now and then. Was it every Monday or something?
I've been trying to do them on Wednesdays.
Oh, like every Wednesday. So we're feeding the gram over there while we'll be off over here. And we're going to start going live a little bit more in the off season as well. Something that just clicked in my head is the votes for the Black movie thing.
Oh, yeah, I beat you.
I lost. I lost. And guys, I like what I like. And the problem with me is I don't really love watching new movies. So I lost. And Jonathan takes the crown. He's a movie guy. And
I'm the movie guy.
I knew he was going to win.
You need a stick that you know you could beat me at.
Well,
Like
life
ranking like
is enough.
hairstyles.
Yeah, okay. See, that's the thing. Jonathan picked something where he knew it would not be a close thing. Do you feel good about yourself?
Yes,
Good.
I do.
Cool. Because
I do.
Because let's be for real
I mean,
now.
you could have won. You could have won if you chose better options.
I know, but I know I don't watch as good at movies that you do. I love like not great movies. It just
You
warms
said
my heart.
You almost said I love trash.
I know, but just in case other people really like those movies, I don't want to use that word. I used that word in my blog the other day. Actually, I didn't even use it. I said something else, and this girl was like, "How could you say that I'm trash?" I was like, I didn't say that. You said that. But anyway, today we're going to do part 2 of the suggestions that we were doing 6 years ago, the last time we posted. We just wanted to do it only because we said we were going to. I hope it's not stale to you guys, but people send in their questions for advice, and we are going to answer them. And then we're going to wrap this up, you guys. It's been a good time, but we're going to wrap it up.
I said let's answer like a few. I mean, let's not like go crazy. Let's answer a few, and then let's just have like some fun at the tail end.
Okay. All right, so we're just going to jump right into it, you guys. So the first one says, so I'm a Christian girl currently in my 20s in uni, which I'm assuming is university, and I don't feel like I'm living up to the ideal of enjoying your youth or your 20s being the best time of your life. I've been struggling so much with friendships and keeping in touch with my people because right now I'm living away from all my family and friends, and sometimes it just starts out slowly where you stop responding as often as you used to, and then you realize a year has passed and you haven't talked to some of your closest friends. I feel like so much time has passed that it seems impossible for me to mend those friendships that have sort of phased out. I'd really appreciate any advice you could give on this. I know people say 20s is your best time, but I don't think that's true. I feel like 20s are stressful because in the 20s, you're trying to figure out what career am I going to do? Like, am I too old? Do I need to move out? And like, oh my gosh, I'm getting kicked off my parents' insurance. I feel like there's so much figuring out in your 20s, especially the first half. Like you said, she said I'm in my 20s. I feel like once you hit like 26 and on is the best time. But when you're 20, 21, 22, I know people are out partying, drinking, smoking, doing all that stuff, but that's not fun to me. So I think those years are like the crackdown years and the years that you really start finding out who you are and the friends that you want to have for the rest of your life. I don't think those are your core years where it's like, I need to have going on trips with my best friends and whatever, because I don't even think I met my best friends till I was like later in my 20s and knew who my group was. And then I had money to do the traveling and things like that. So not to say you shouldn't be having fun in your early 20s, but I don't want you to think that you're missing out on the best time of your life because you're in school and you don't have time to talk to your friends as much because you're trying to crack down and do university. I think you're doing fine. I don't think you should put too much pressure on your 20s because it definitely gets better because you're broke in your 20s. You don't have money. How can you have the best time of your life and you don't got no money? That's my thought.
I think trying to also build a life where you're at as well. It sounds like you're looking back a lot to like, oh, my friends from back home. And those friends are important and you shouldn't abandon them completely. But life can happen where you're at too. You know, you're at university. Like there are people around you there. Start building some friendships and relationships where you are. And I feel like we, like Jess said, idolize like an image of what you would have thought your life would be. But there is beauty in what your life is right now. So like no matter if life isn't turning out how you thought it could, like how it is now is still beautiful as well.
I like your answer way better than mine. That's good. All right. Okay, up next. So recently I have chosen to fully commit to following God and take my relationship with him much more serious. However, my dad does not support this, and he has a lot of problems with the church and other pastors that he knows personally. Recently, he has placed some restrictions on me, like not paying my tithes and offering, and I can really sense that there are more restrictions coming. He constantly speaks against God and the church. He constantly shames my mom for being so committed to God, and it truly breaks me. What do I do? By the way, I am 17 and I still go to school from home.
I think in any situation when you're dealing with a really complicated person, all you can really do is, and especially when you're dealing with a complicated person and there's a power dynamic, all you can really do is pray for them. Like really come to God and bring them to God and saying, hey, this is the person who you've put in charge of me. This is the person who you've put over me. How can I pray for and love this person better? Because if you're not praying for somebody, you start to view them as your enemy or adversary. Then you start to develop feelings of contempt for them, rather than if you start to pray for them and really like ask God to change their heart and to bless them, you start feeling more love towards that person. So I think with your dad, just continue to pray for him, and pray for your mom that she would have strength. And that's all you could really do, honestly.
Yeah. What if, she didn't say this, but what if her dad says you can't go to church anymore?
That's a really tough one. I think it's like a case-by-case basis, and that's really tough. I'm not sure. What do you think about that?
I mean, she's 17. She says she still lives in the home. What I would want to say right now, I'm thinking out loud, and my answer could change, but if your dad says you can't go to church, I would assume that you have to respect his rules and obey his rules. But it doesn't mean you can't read the Bible. yeah, you can't read your Bible and still be praying and maybe turn on a sermon at home. But I do think while you're living in your parents' house and you're only 17, you respect what your parents are saying, but you can still have a relationship with God. And because I also think, say you're sneaking out, and this is a hypothetical now situation, but say you're sneaking out now after your dad already has suspicions of church people, and now you're going against him to go to church. It just makes it look like you're proving his point, you know? So it's like you want to just, basically what you were saying, like you want to love and like show God's love and show your obedience, and that will like soften a heart.
Yeah.
And then maybe 100%. He'll turn around and be like, you know what? You can go, or maybe he wants to go to church or whatever. But I think it all starts with showing so much love that it's like they have no choice but to break softly, like, you know?
Yeah. And I think also like maybe trying to see if there's like any online Bible studies that you can go to. Or if you're in high school, you said you're going to school at home. I know them at high school, college. They have like first priority there. So it's like a Christian club at school, so that you can have a level of community.
Yeah.
With also still respecting the rules of the house that you live in.
Yes. All right, next. So we're kind of like going through this quickly, but next. Okay. Not gonna lie, I personally do not think my sister's boyfriend is serious about Christ for real. It's been making me wonder if she is. I don't think it'd be wise for me to talk to her about it though, because they see me as holier than thou. What would you do in a position where you think your brother's dating someone who's not saved?
Yeah, if someone that you love is making a decision that you don't agree with, I think you pray for. Sounds like redundant, but I think you pray for them and you pray for wisdom. You have a conversation with them and let them know, you know, that you're concerned. Depending on how they respond to that, that kind of gives you your next steps. If they kind of brush you off, depending on the situation, you can maybe bring somebody else into it. If you feel like that might not be the best course of action, maybe it's that you just pray for them and continue to love them, and allow God to do the work.
Right.
I think many times we feel like in situations that we need to be the ones to pull people out, or that we need to be the ones to make things shake or convince somebody that they're... But like a lot of the times it's God that's going to be the one to pull them out of it. So I think it's letting them know your stance, but then also letting them know that you care about them and you're praying for them and you love them.
Yeah, I agree.
No thoughts on your end?
I would just say, like, especially if they already see you as someone who's holier than thou, which could mean, like, judgy or whatever it is, I feel like you just flip it. And like you said, because I wouldn't want my brother or I don't have a sister, like, to marry someone who is not saved, because it just puts your life down a whole different path that you don't want them to be. So I would ask sister to sister, like, hey, is Javon, is he saved? Does he know the Lord as his personal savior? And say her answer is no. And it's like, you can, sometimes I like to have people answer their own question. It's like, oh, what do you think about that? Is that what you want for your family? But like in a light tone, and not like you're really going to marry someone who's not saved. Nobody wants to respond to that. So it could be in light conversation, just doing a temperature check. How's the relationship going? Like, is he a great leader? How do you feel? Like, are you guys going to go to church when you get married? What are you going to do when you guys have kids? Just like conversation. And if she does say no, he's not saved, all you can do is still love on both of them and show them the love of Jesus so that they would want to be saved. But if you start acting like, ew, you're both going to hell and blah, blah, like, people who act like that are not going to bring anyone to the Lord, because why would they want to be a part of that type of judgment?
100%.
Okay, how do I deal with a God-fearing man who falls every now and then, besides prayer and grace, because I'm tired? God-fearing because he and I both got baptized in 2022. We're Christians, workers in our church. He works with the media team, and I'm a Sunday school teacher. We had our miracle baby in 2023, but with the huge change of roles, he's still a year behind me, and our child will be 2 soon. He still operates like we don't have a baby, only makes time to get himself ready, while I have to give myself 2 to 3 hours to make sure baby and I are ready to leave on time, or ask him because he just feels like I got it so he can chill. Acts of service is my love language, but he is barely meeting that, and yet quality time is his, and I fulfill it nightly because I still have to sit down at some point to eat and maybe watch a movie. He finally committed to marriage counseling, but it's still like pulling teeth because he says all the time he's only doing it for me.
I think a situation like that is super tricky. I guess one question is, how much conversation have you had with him about how the things that he's doing is affecting you? Because I know that you've mentioned, mentioned going to marriage counseling, and he said he'd do it for you. But it sounds like you're building up a level of resentment. And that's only natural because you feel like you're doing a lot of the work. So I guess a question that I would have in response is, how much have you shared your heart with him? We all have primary and secondary emotions. Well, the primary emotion might be disappointment or feeling hurt or feeling sad. I think the secondary emotion would be anger or resentment. And I think we can tend to want to just share the secondary emotion because it seems it's less emotionally taxing or less emotionally vulnerable, where it's like, can you please help me? Or you would start to nag somebody rather than be like, how I feel like you don't help me out. Like, it's really hurtful. I can feel like I'm alone in this sometimes, that I don't have you on my side. And I think that for anybody that loves you, if you speak to them like that and you are at the max level vulnerable, like, it starts to change their heart. And then especially as you continue to love them through that it's like, I love you and I want to continue to be there for you, but like, I'm really hurting right now and this relationship is really hard for me. And I think, I don't know if you've had the conversations like that before, but if not, then that's what my recommendation would be.
Yeah, I feel like in marriage, something I had to learn early is that if I want Jonathan to hear me, I have to pretty much say what you were saying. Like, I have to speak with vulnerability and kind of like kindness instead of being like, oh my God, you never take out the trash or whatever. Instead of telling him what he doesn't do, tell him why what he's not doing hurts me or something. It's like, hey, or how it would be helpful. Like, hey, it really makes me, you said all the same stuff already, but it really makes me feel alone when I have to take care of the baby by myself. Like, even if it seems like, oh, I got it because apparently I do, it would still mean so much to me if you could help me, or maybe like, you could do the part and let me have a chill Sunday morning. Like, how about we take turns or do it together, like as bonding instead of, I always do it by myself. You never help me with the blah, blah. And now look, I know it could be true. And that's what we want to say inside. But men have different ears. And when we start saying, when we start saying you always and you never, the shell comes on. Even if you're right, I feel like it's just like they don't hear us. And I know Jonathan's gonna say, not men, everyone feels that way, but I'm talking to the girls right now. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
So yeah, when you're speaking to your husband and you hit them with that, you never help me, and he may know he never helps, but if you're talking to him like that, you're like, like they're just not gonna hear you. Yeah. They're putting up their shields.
I think attacking words make you want to defend.
Yeah.
Like, when someone attacks, you want to defend. But if someone's like, hey, I'm walking up to you, and like, I just want to have like a conversation. Like, I really love you and I know you love me, and this is making me feel very unloved.
Right.
At the moment.
Visually, if someone's walking up to you with their arms open, you're going to get ready to hug them. But if someone's walking up to you with a knife, you're going to get ready to defend yourself. So use the conversation with your arms like a hug. Hey, honey, I really need your help this morning. It would be so great if you could get little Emily dressed, and I'm going to go do my hair. Can you just help me for a second? And even help it. The clothes are laid out right there. The shirt, shoes, and pants are laid out. The Pampers are right there. Can you put them in the bag and just put that outfit? Help him out the first week. Don't have him lost. Like, hey, pick an outfit. I don't care. Sometimes you really got to,
So this is like a really nerdy example.
Tell me about it.
This might be just for the men. So for anybody that's seen Dune,
okay,
the Dune movies, Dune Dune 1 or 2, the fighters, they have these shields, right? The shield only works if something's coming at them fast.
Okay.
Like, if something's like trying to attack, then the shield will activate. But if somebody moves slowly at them, they can move past the shields. So in the same way, like, I feel like as people, when people are trying to attack you, like, you're just so ready, or you feel like you're being attacked, your shield is so ready to just turn on.
Yeah.
But when approached calmly, like as a friend or as a wife or as someone that just loves you and like they're letting you know that they're hurt, the shield usually comes down.
And there you have it. All my Dune fans.
Lisa Nagaib.
I saw it, but I couldn't tell you what happened because I fell asleep. Okay. My husband and I have been married for 8 months and together for 6 years come this July. Recently, I've been wanting to motivate him more to put himself out there and start his own business. I'm actually taking some courses this spring to obtain some additional certifications in my fields. I work for the government. I know he would excel, and he knows that I fully support him and want to see him grow. I'm just unsure of how to help him with his motivation. He'll say he wants to do X, Y, and Z, but there's no plan being created or steps taken. It brings me joy seeing him do what he loves, so I'm asking for advice on how, as a wife, can I be a better supporter or motivator for my husband when it comes to his dreams?
Well, I think the first thing is determining is if it's really his dream or it's a thing that he says that he wants to do in order to make you happy. I mean, this could just not be the point at all. And you're like, I know my husband. I know that he wants to do this. But that's just like an initial question that I would have, just like not knowing anything else about the situation. I just know as men that we just really want to make our wives happy. We want them to think that we are worthy and think that, I don't know, like as an identity thing. I think that like we're something to look up to. So I think it's assessing how much of the dream that he actually want, or if it's just something he's saying to make you happy. And if it is something that he wants, it's asking the question, how can I help you, or how can I push you to do this, for yourself? It's like, do you want me to help? Do you want me to try to help you? Do you want me to try to encourage and push you in this? Or does that feel like that puts more pressure on you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like once you get past that question, if you guys haven't had that already, if he does want your help, I think it's cool to have marriage meetings. Like you sit down, okay, babe, next Saturday, let's go to breakfast, or let's go to the coffee shop, or even have breakfast at home, like at the dinner table, and talk. Like, okay, in 2 years, where do you see us, or where do we want to be? And then it's like, we want to be XYZ. Okay, so that's where we want to be. How are we going to take the steps to get there? Do we need to sign up for school again? Do you want to go back to school? Do you want to take some lessons at music lessons or whatever it is that he wants to do? Let's start making a plan, but like together. But let's find out where like the end goal is, because if you need to know where you're going first in order to even make a plan. So it sounds like he has all these different ideas, like X, Y, and Z. Like, let's pick one, see where you want to be with that plan in 5 years, and let's start making a plan together at breakfast. Make it light and fun or whatever. Let's start making step 1, 2, and 3 on how we can start getting to where we want to be in 5 years. Do it together, but there has to be an action plan, but he needs to know where he's going first. You can't just go in the car and expect to get where you're going, but you don't know where you're going. So let's find out where we're trying to go, and then we can do some steps together to get there. Anything else?
No, that's good.
Well, okay, here's the last one.
Last one. Wow, we did it.
We did
it. Someone else sent one in, and I was like, yeah, we'll try to get to it.
I did that too. I lost it. Someone like sent it in my DM. I'm like, yeah, screenshot. And that was a 10,000 screenshots ago, so I'm probably never going to see that screenshot again. All right. I'm so sorry. Do you believe that the enemy sends a counterfeit before sending your godly spouse? I've never been one to get DMs from guys, but lately I've been getting abnormal attention. Recently, a guy slid into my DMs. He's a PK. It didn't go anywhere. He would just comment that I'm cute, but once he started throwing around a few curse words here and there, I let that situation fizzle out. Another 2 guys randomly liked all 3 of my posts. I've never been in a relationship at 22 years old, and I've only been on 1 date. I've been asking God to send me my man of God, and I'm believing for courtship in the near future because I want to meet my guy, only date him, and get married. I'm about to graduate college, and I feel I'm ready, but also feel like I'm being hidden. All right, so let me say something that I think it's a fine goal to, you said, because I want to meet my guy, only date him, and get married, but I feel like that puts a lot of pressure on the person you pick, and it makes you weary of, maybe you're not the one guy that, because it puts too much pressure. I think it's okay to date someone and it doesn't work out and then you move on. You don't have to find the perfect person. If you only date him, you get married to your first boyfriend and it works out perfectly, because that may not be the case. If that does work out, that's amazing. My mom did that. My dad was the only guy she ever dated. They got married in 9 months and they've been married for 38, 40, whatever, 40 years. But that doesn't work for everyone. And I don't want you to put too much pressure on that, because now your eyebrow will be raised for everyone. Like, is this the counterfeit? Is this the real one that God sent? How do I know? You know by trying them out. And now you don't have to go on a date with every guy who comes your way, but like, hey, let's talk on the phone. Let's see. Let's go for coffee. And a coffee is light. It's not like we dated, like quick coffee or whatever. And you'll see. I don't necessarily believe that the enemy sends a counterfeit before you get your godly man. It can happen, or there can just be guys who approach you and they're not the one. I don't know if I'd call it them all counterfeits, but I don't want you to over spiritualize something just because someone came, they liked you, they weren't the one that we have to call them a counterfeit. It's just he wasn't the one that you're gonna marry, but he could be a cool guy. Maybe he's for somebody else, but don't put too much pressure on it. Is what I would say.
Yeah, I think you definitely don't want to have relational OCD. I think where it's like, and I had this a lot too, where any girl that came around, it's like I just can't, like I want to make sure that this, that, and that, and is really freak out about it. Whereas there are certain things that automatically disqualify somebody.
Yes.
Right? And I think those would be the quote unquote counterfeits. Right? But those are pretty easily discernible if you look with Christ's eyes. So like, are they someone that loves Jesus for real and seeks after him? If it's not somebody like that, you can immediately cross them off the list. Right. But if it's someone that loves Jesus and you guys get along and you've seen things in his personality, just like some basics, then it might be someone worth giving a chance of just maybe a date or two, maybe like a group setting thing where you hang out in a group where you can kind of see the person's vibe, the first few times. And then maybe you end up going on a solo date. And then as time goes on, you ask important questions. And that way you can kind of weed out people that aren't for you. But the only person that you will ever know is for you is only going to be through experience.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's very easy to find out who isn't for you, like who clearly isn't for you. But sometimes to find out the person that is for you does take taking a chance.
Yeah.
And asking God to give you peace about the situation. But not being scared. Like, it's okay. And, in some of these situations, you might get hurt. But a lot of times, pain is what you may need to go through in order to become the person that you'll need to be when it's time for you to become a husband or a wife.
Bravo. Very well said, honey. Yeah.
Last question. That was awesome.
Whew. Sorry, all my energy is down.
My wife works hard. She really puts in the work.
Thanks, honey.
We've had a long day, and then she works some more, and we're working now, and she's worked all week. So she's just the best, honestly.
It's very kind, honey. So let's end this off with some fun.
I want to say something first.
Yes.
Just thank you for working with me. Yeah, like I think it's just such a blessing and an honor that we get to do this together. That this is episode 26.
Oh, how do you know? You counted?
We did this 10 last season, 16 this season.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like we've done 26 episodes sitting in front of the camera talking. So it's almost like 26 hours.
And some pre-podcast episodes.
Yeah,
too.
so that we've done a lot together.
Yeah.
And it's just been so fun. It's been a pleasure doing this together. And there are times we've gotten stressed with each other, and the times where like we've gotten to heated discussions with one another about different aspects of podcasting. But all in all, I think this is like one of the biggest blessings of my life that I get to do this with you.
Well, thank you, honey. It's been lovely to work with you as well, too. I love you. You're so wise. And I learn a lot from you during these podcasts, too.
No, thank you.
So thank you. No, thank you.
No.
No.
Thank you.
No, listen.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you. For those who only watch the podcast, and we have a lot of people on here that are like, oh, I don't look at Instagram. I'll try, emphasis on try, to post some stuff to YouTube. YouTube shorts as well. A lot of maybe like some podcast clips from like prior podcasts, or maybe even I keep saying that I want to do some like individual videos, like kind of whether it's breaking down the word or like devotional kind of things.
Yes.
And maybe I will get into that during the
it.
break. It's really should be proactive about content. But what are you looking forward to in the next few months?
I'd like to get pregnant. That would be really cool.
That would be cool.
I'd be into that.
How are you feeling about that actually? Where we're at right now?
You know, I actually have been feeling on and off about it lately. So, especially after going on that brand trip and then having another one coming up, sometimes I'm kind of like, you know what? Now is the time to live life. Like, let's be outside. Let's travel. Let's just travel and move around. Let's live somewhere for 3 months or whatever. I'm like, let's do some more things before we get pregnant. And then we got Jaquez. They got the cat. And I'm like, you know what? Now I have someone to take care of. I feel like I have someone else to love. It feels good. I feel full. And then the other day, I got my period, and I was so upset.
Yeah, that time was upsetting though. Like it came late, so anytime it comes late, it's more upsetting.
Yeah. Sorry, it's TMI, but I recently got my period, and it was 4 days late, and I was like, no way.
I thought this was it. I thought it was it.
Is
too.
this happening?
I'm like, you know what's so funny? Like around period time, I almost never ask her like when her period's supposed to be coming.
I know, because I'm like, surprised you.
Yeah, I'm like, should be coming soon.
Yeah,
but if she hasn't said anything.
Yeah, so I've been kind of on and off about it. Before I was just on, and lately I've been like, you know what? Maybe it's okay that we're waiting because we just have more time to do other things and have more fun. But then I had to actually ask God for forgiveness the other day because I was talking to someone and they were talking about this mom, they're talking about this mom that they know how, like, you know, she could be a better mom. And I was like, I can't believe God gave her a baby and not me. And I was like, whoa, Jess, take it back.
Is that ungratefulness I hear?
I was like, take it back, Jess. You got to relax. So, like, Jonathan and I were praying. I was just like, we haven't prayed together in a while. Like, let's pray. And I was like, while I'm here, Lord, like, please forgive me for, like, is that coveting?
Yeah, coveting.
Yeah, coveting. Or just being, jealous of someone else's blessing. I was like, calm that down. Like, that's never cute. And that doesn't help you get a baby any faster. Okay, buddy. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm back and forth. If anything, though, I'm definitely still teetering more on can I have a baby, please? But sometimes I get a little tense of the thought that I'm taking this as a gift. We have the gift of more time, but sometimes I'm like, dog, we not using it. We not going nowhere. And I know we can't just go everywhere because Jonathan works full time, but I'm like, what are we going to do with this gift of extra time? Let's move. Let's do something. Let's go to Japan.
I feel like we still are doing something, but like we do a lot of ministry, which is good that we probably are going to have to take a huge step back from when we have a baby. We're doing a lot of ministry. We're doing you're getting to do a lot of these brand trips.
I want to do them together.
Yeah, well, the reason we haven't done these past two together isn't because I can't go.
Well, I'm saying I want to go on trips together.
We want to go on trips together. I mean, yeah, I get that. I think that just in general, though, I feel like we are utilizing our time well.
Yeah, I guess we are. It's not like the glamorous way in my head that I feel like actually society kind of makes you feel like.
I think
people
that's more
always
society
say,
than
like,
anything else.
Oh yeah, like enjoy this time with your husband, travel. I'm like, oh, give me the money then.
Yeah, no, it's like
give me the money and give me my husband's time off to enjoy and travel. That you're saying, yeah, no, you have kids, yeah, go travel.
But we do travel. We went
my hands are open.
We were just on a cruise.
Yeah. No, because in my head, I'm like, why? Weekly, every weekend, why are we going somewhere?
Because we don't have unlimited money. That's why. You know what's so funny? I feel like people see influencer and they're like, oh, you're rich.
Yeah. Why? Could travel.
It's like,
No.
it's like we live in a regular house.
We're so regular, you guys.
In a regular city.
Okay, we may be a step.
No, we're not hurt. We're not hurting.
No. I'm not saying hurting, but like, a lot of our friends can't afford to buy a house.
No, I understand. I'm saying no. All I'm saying is that we're not hurting. We're not.
Yeah, we're not the rich influencer that people think influencers are.
Yeah.
Like we're very much got to pay our taxes. We get nerves and taxes and comes around. Like, oh my gosh, we budget how much we're gonna spend for our groceries and things like that.
We have a monthly budget.
Yeah,
like,
Jonathan had to buy an Apple Watch. He's like, I'm gonna get the cheapest
We talk about
one.
it. We talk about it.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna get the cheapest one, like so that we can. I'm like, oh yeah, we're just very much normal.
Yeah, so we're not hurting, but we're not rich either. And in any case, I think with the pregnancy thing right now,
how are you feeling about it?
I feel like right now, I more so than before. I think when we were waiting on that October timeline, it was way more nerve-wracking all the time because I was thinking that like, you know, if it doesn't happen by then, really being worried about you more than anything else, and just, you know, just that kind of concern. But I feel like I felt more free since then. I feel like obviously I still want a baby, but a lot of the intensity of it, God's kind of helped me cool a little bit, to the point where it's like I want it, but at this moment, like I don't need it. So I think like I feel like I'm in a good place where it's like, God, I just trust you with the timing completely. Whereas we've had conversations about like what would we do in like an IUI or like a IVF. We've had conversations about it and we haven't come to any firm conclusion. But like I have 100% peace in just that, like, and whatever, you know, we decide as a family, but whatever Jess is most comfortable with, it's like I'm cool with doing, unless, you know, God was like, no, you know, don't do that, or like he didn't give me peace about it. But right now, I kind of just have peace about each thing. You know, it's like,
you know,
I believe it's gonna happen, so it's like more so a matter of like knowing that's a matter of when rather than if. So I have peace in that, and also I think Jaquez does really help.
He does help.
You know, a lot of people give us like a lot of like flack when we got the cats. Like, oh no, you're just blah 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 blah.
I know. It's the best thing I've ever done.
No, that little cat. I told my friend group, I was like, since Jess, I feel like this is one of the biggest evidences of God's love for me.
Okay.
This little cat. No, it's like when you're not here, like he just like hangs out around me, and it's just really chill. I don't know.
Perfect. I think a lot of people have bad experiences with cats. For one, you got to get around a purebred cat.
Oh,
that'll change you.
It changed everything.
It changes the game. They are much more expensive, but it's so
worth it.
I would rather pay that much for a cat and have a peaceful life with my cat than get a cat for free. And I do understand people are like, you need to adopt, and there's cats on the street and all that stuff.
I feel you.
I understand it, but I will tell you, if no one bought that cat, he would end up probably on the street too. But
no, there's no world where no one bought him though.
That's true. But listen, the cats that you get off the street are nuts because they're not purebred. So people are like, they're gonna drive you crazy. They're gonna do this. They're gonna crawl up on. This cat is chilling. He has his zoomies every now and then, but they're so entertaining. I love his little zoomies. They're so fun to watch. So the cat was a great
addition to the family.
Addition to the fam. That's my baby right now. It's so funny. Remember, we were like trying to look up what his name meant. It meant like replacement or something.
I don't even remember. I didn't remember that.
Wait, let me look at. I remember when we were at like Zay and Chuli's house. We're like, what does the name mean? And it meant like replace or something. And we were like, whoa, now that's not what we meant. Let me see. I guess it might depend on how you spell it. How do you actually spell Jaquez?
Shock.
Oh, well, this spelling means one who follows. Very true.
He does follow around.
Very true.
Yeah, he was great. But yeah, I feel really good about, you know, where we're at right now. Mm-hmm. Other than the baby, what's something that you are praying for?
Something I'm praying for. I think I'm constantly praying about, you know, my job or like my business or whatever, knowing which direction to take. And I always want to be a good steward of the blessing that God has given me. But also sometimes, since it's like with content creating, it's 100% on you for your business to succeed. And of course, obviously, like God, if God blesses it, it does the thing. But like every day I have to come up with my own content. And sometimes I'm like, I don't know what to do today, God. Like, I don't know. I just don't know. And it's like every day I have to be the executive producer and like camera guy and everything. And I'm like, I don't know what to do sometimes. I'm like, oh my gosh, if my business is going to fall apart. Sometimes I worry about that. And I'm just like, you know, I'm praying, Lord, that you just take me in the right direction, or like this video will do well and like this company will see me and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and that I'll always be a good example. Like I was talking on the vlog the other day about a decision I had to make if I should work with this company or not. And I'm just like, I feel like it would have done more harm than good to work with them. And then, you know, I spoke to a manager and we got it fixed around. But these are the things that I have to think of. Since I have a platform, I also now have a responsibility, a different type of responsibility as if I didn't have one. And just so people know, you don't have to have a following to be, not an example, to have influence. you can have influence on anyone, on your children, on your classroom if you're a teacher,
You already
on
have
your friends.
You already have influence.
Right. Like someone can be influenced by you. So you don't have to be an influencer to have influence. So the choices that you make, whether you have 1 million followers or 2, still matter. It's just that my business is attached to it. Like my light bill is attached to that, or like the food on the table, like that we put together, it is attached to it. So I feel very like on edge sometimes about the things that I say or do. So I just like am praying for guidance on where to go next. And sometimes like the older I get, I'm wondering, okay, when do we stop? Like when do I stop putting my life on blast, or when do I stop doing silly hair videos or makeup or just jokey joke? When is it like, all right, girl, you're getting too old for this? And I'm only 33. I don't think I'm there yet, but once I start getting 37, 38, I'm like, ooh, am I still going to be like, good morning, guys, spend the day with me. You're 38? I don't know. And there probably are some 38-year-olds who do it. And by the time I get to 38, I might be like, oh, I have plenty more time left. But like, when you're like 40 or 45, what am I going to be doing then?
The world's going to be a lot different then. Who knows what's going to be going on?
Who knows? You're right. I don't know. So those are the things I think about. And I'm like, God, just guide me. I need his guidance every day. Like, new day tomorrow. What do you want me to do with my platform? What do you want me to do? Because your name is attached to this now. Now I got to make sure I'm not embarrassing my Lord. So those are the things I think about. Don't be asking me what's in my head, because it's so much.
No, but that's good. That's really good.
What about you, honey?
I think one thing that I've been praying about and what I'm praying for. One thing that I pray for is kind of just for God to continue to use both of us and use the influence that we do have, like even just like outside of social media, but like, locally, like through church, and just be like how to be a better brother, how to be a better friend, to be a better son, just to, better impact people around me. And that's one thing that I pray for. One thing that I pray about is that I feel like this season, like I've had like some insecurities. And I think we talked about this before, like insecurities like surface, whereas I used to work 5 days a week and now I work 3 days a week, 3 long days, but there are days that I have off. And I was relying so much on Jess, like, oh, let's do the content together in these days. But like, she's an influencer on her own, like ahead of being an influencer together. Mm-hmm. So it's like, what am I going to do on my own? Like trying to learn to not just depend on her for like my validation or my direction in that avenue, and just try to own it and like ask God like what he wants me to do in terms of it. And I think that's one thing that I've been praying about. Okay. It's insecurity, and God's been helping me be more secure.
I love that. Yeah, guys, Jonathan's speaking at church tomorrow.
And I'm doing the giving moment.
I'm so excited for you.
I feel like those are tricky though.
Why?
Because I feel like giving stuff can be like, give me your money.
Give me your money.
I mean, and I don't know, not necessarily at our church, but like I hear people talk. Like I know people that don't go to church, and they're like, oh, the church just wants your money so that they can like pimp people out. And there are pastors who do that. Yeah, there's this show called The Righteous Gemstones. Have you heard of it? Mm-mm. So on this show, it's about like these pastors or people who start a church that don't like really believe in Jesus, but they start it to get money from people and to get rich. Oof. So like this is like an idea.
That's not a reality show, is it?
No. But this is like an idea in the world, where. So I kind of just want to steward the moment well, where I really want it to be about that we don't give so that God will give to us, but we give because he's given to us and will continue to give to us. And that will happen regardless of whether we give or not.
Right.
But it's like his call for us to be radically generous, and us being generous reminds us that it's him that sustains us all along. Like it's not by our might, by our will, by our whatever.
Yeah.
So I just want to store the moment well.
I'm excited for you.
I'm scared.
Don't be scared. You're such a natural. You've preached sermons before on stage.
It was a long time ago.
It's going to be like riding a bike. You know, when you were talking about that show, the preaching show, whatever, it reminded me of this reality show called Preacher's Daughters. Have you ever heard of that show?
Not really, no.
I don't know why when I was watching that show, that's when I felt like I was like, I'm going to marry a preacher one day. I know it. But if the show wasn't even about the wives, it was about the daughters, and they were all obviously reckless. I wonder, I need to look up that show and see if it was like scripted or if it was real, because the daughters were wilding out, and I was wondering why any preacher would sign their family up for that show or would agree to be doing that. Like,
Yeah, that's a good question.
why would you ever do that? Insane. I'm so glad no one signed up my family up for that show, because my poor parents. If the stuff we did was recorded on national television, my mom would not recover. She would have moved to Zimbabwe already and changed her name, and no one would ever see her again. My mom's so private, and she gets embarrassed so easily. Oh, God. Oh, Lord. I pray over our children all the time. I'm like, Lord, please don't let my daughter in that term be anything like me. Let her be nice and just quiet and just lovely. Lovely. I was not lovely. I was boisterous and loud and all over the place. I want my daughter to be lovely. She should be lovely and cute and kind and sweet and a virgin until you get married.
Your daughter, I mean, well, the virgin until she gets married, that could happen, but
Okay.
your daughter not be like not.
Yes, no,
Just,
she's like,
you don't want her to be like you.
sweet. I want her to be like me, but in the right setting. I was like me at the club. I was at me at the party. And I was like, everybody look at me. I'm so funny. It was doing too much.
I mean, but she could be like you, but not at the club and at the party.
I guess. But if you're going to be like me, then, I just prayed over my kids. Be great. I always pray, and I pray over my nieces and nephews. I'm like, let them be leaders and not followers, Lord. Let them be kind.
The head and not the tail.
And not the tail, yes. Let them be generous. Let them be kind to their friends. Let them be sharing and caring. I pray over them so much. I'm like, but mainly leaders, Lord. But leaders in the right...
Lead to good things.
Yeah, lead like my babies. Oh, Lord.
Get it together.
It's so funny. Okay, this is the last thing I'm going to say. I'm starting to see what kind of mother I might be by the way I take care of Jaquez. And Jonathan has been asking me, he's like, this is how you're going to be when we have kids? Because, like, if Jaquez even, like, sneezed, I'm like, do we need to change his litter? Maybe he's allergic to his food. Like, should we call it out? And Jonathan's like, calm down. Like, is this what you're going to be like? I'm like, I don't know. I just want to make sure he stays alive.
It's like all these, like, different things. Like, I did read on TikTok that. I'm like,
I know. I'm like, I think we need to change his
stop.
food because there's poop in it or
yeah,
whatever.
I'm like, I just need you to relax.
I just need my baby to stay
like
alive.
something happened once, and it's like, no, maybe we need to
I know, we need
change
to change his litter because he's obviously allergic to it and he doesn't like using it. I was like, can you calm down? I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but she doesn't say okay.
I know. Anyways, you guys, thank you for rocking with us for another 16 episodes. It's been fun.
It's been fun, and we'll try to stay in touch, in contact
Yes.
with you guys.
We'll be back soon
Ish.
for season 3. It's gonna be fun.
We're gonna try to change some stuff up, but yeah.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching this episode, and we'll see you guys in a little bit. Bye.